Welcome to Reality NSFW's coverage of Survivor 42, Episode 4. This is the Deep Dive Podcast. I am Alex Rubino, joining you as always with my wonderful co-host, the one and only Dan Montchal. Dan, how's it going?
I'm doing pretty good. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward episode, but it's still another good one. Season's continuing to go off pretty well.
You know, we've still got Survivor. It's still not sucking. That's really all I need. I'm happy. I'll take it. I still like a lot of these people. So,
Yeah, no, I mean, as of right now, it's shaping up to be a pretty good season. Obviously things can shift, but I think that there's enough going on that it'll keep us on our toes.
yeah, just don't make a big claim like you did last time because we all know how that worked out with Daniel.
Well, it's these things happen.
Yep.
I warned everyone my predictions were going to be wrong.
Yeah, I just hope you're not wrong about the season going downhill because I really don't want it to go downhill. But we have another person using the shot in the dark. We have another person failing at it, and another young person going home. It seems like a trend, with maybe the exception of Jenny. But we start on night 7. Vati's coming back from their ridiculous tribal council. And you're in trouble when you're like, can we just talk about this in the morning? Daniel's like, can we just do this in the morning? Meaning, can we never talk about it again? And that quickly does not go very well.
Yeah, I don't care how tired you are, how over it, you don't want to talk about it. I think at this point, whether like it or not, you got to suck it up and have those conversations because other people will be talking that night. And so the longer that you go without addressing it, I feel like it only spirals more out of control for them. So I think it's just another excuse of probably not the best gameplay from Daniel.
Yeah, I mean, at the point I'd be at, I'd just be like, let's talk about it. Let's get it over with so that maybe in the morning we do actually forget about it. Because if
Yeah,
it's not
try to do a
addressed, no one
fresh
should ever
start.
do it. Yeah.
I feel like that's the move that you have to go is let's talk about it. Let's get it all out in the open. And tomorrow, like it's a new day.
Yeah.
But
he says he felt screwed by Chanel. I mean, a little bit in terms of Chanel not having a vote, so his plan doesn't work. Sure. In terms of Chanel not boldly just saying, hey, this is what I wanted. Yeah, but she's playing the game and so is he. He feels screwed. Chanel calls out Daniel's like, well, if you don't want to talk about it tonight, that's fine, but I do, and you screwed me. And then in confessional, all she says is, yeah, Lydia was my idea, but I can't say that. How do you think Chanel played this? Because I'm honestly impressed.
I think as well as she possibly could. I mean, from this point, because you get Daniel's constant talking and not going on, he just keeps digging himself a deeper and deeper grave. And I think it's kind of whatever she does, it just slides more under the radar. And I think it makes it a lot easier for her to just disassociate with him.
Yeah, honestly, she is doing a masterful job of just saying, hey, I don't know you. Let's not do this. This wasn't my idea. Even though she really should be getting some of the blame. This really should be like Daniel getting most of it, I think, but her getting a little bit. And like he says later, she's getting off scot-free, and Daniel really needs a dime to turn.
Well, I think at this point, you just see more of his stock lowering and hers pretty much staying the same. Because, I mean, in one of the next scenes, you see Hai and Mike talking together, which would be a potential another 3 alliance that she's not involved with. So I think she's more or less kind of stayed the same. She hasn't lost much footing, whereas, Daniel has lost all the footing in the world in this game.
I think, I don't know if she's, I'm with you in that she hasn't gained that much, but I think she's gained a little. Because I still think no one in this tribe was like, we need to get Chanel, maybe except Daniel, and I don't even think Daniel would really want to get rid of her. And also, we're now down to 13 people left. 1, maybe 2 votes max before the merge. At this point, I'm the only person I'm concerned with is Daniel. If I'm not Daniel, I'm in a pretty damn good spot, I think. And I think I can say that about Chanel right now. Because once she gets to the merge, and I think she will get to the merge, she can make allies and make inroads. And Daniel is this big, giant shield in front of her. That's like, well, he's the easy target. Let's get rid of him.
Yeah, because, I mean, if you look at it, if it's going to follow the same kind of layout as last season, that would imply we have one more tribal, and then we'd have the merge in 2 weeks.
Yes, we have the merge, and the good old shot hourglass nonsense comes back, but let's hope it doesn't. Yeah, you touched on it. High says he feels blindsided by everybody but Lydia, which is like, for someone who gets their way, I can't think of another tribal where somebody gets exactly what they want out of the vote, but feels blindsided by everyone.
Well, because he just realized that Lydia was the only person that wasn't lying to him.
Yeah, it's just like such a unique circumstance, I think, and I'm really curious to
Well,
see how High plays this, because getting blindsided early, as we've seen in the past, can be a big detriment to your game. But for some really good players, it can be a big advantage because you know what it feels like and you know how to counteract it in the future.
yeah, I mean, I think he's in a very good spot moving forward. And if he's able to solidify that, once it does get to the merge, I think he's a real contender in the game.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Absolutely with you. High tells Mike the plan was to split with Jenny and him, which I think is honestly not. Mike seemed to believe it. I didn't hate it. He pitched it
Well,
well,
that
I
was
think.
the plan
Yeah, I
because he
mean,
wasn't supposed to vote for Jenny.
very at the very, very beginning it was. I'm with you there. But I think the way he sold it was like this was the plan the entire time. I don't know. I thought he like tweaked it a little bit, which I was impressed with. But they end up getting to the same point. Daniel can talk circles all day, but he has no backbone, and that is going to sink him, I think.
Oh, absolutely. It's, he can't, it just seems like it's blunder after blunder for him, and those eventually just add up to something that's unrecoverable.
I love Daniel, but yeah. Mike says that the new three is going to be him, High, and Lydia. Mike loves Lydia. And then we get the thing that should have been the episode title. It was not the episode title. It was just Vibe of the Tribe. Because I'm thinking the producers didn't know how to spell it. Mike's like, it's not Kumbaya. Get rid of the K. Get rid of the It's holy crapaya. And I think that's the definition of Ika, not Fati.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's kind of, the tides have trended. Those first couple episodes, it looked like they were a really solid tribe. They really weren't in danger of losing. They seemed to be all on the same page, which is easy until you go to that vote. But it seems like that first vote just caused mass chaos for them. And it'll be interesting to see if, they're going to come back together or if they just become a lot of individual players come merge time.
I still think they're in a relatively good spot as a tribe compared to Ika. Ika is just the epic disaster that I really thought they would be. I'm shocked they haven't lost more. But yeah, Vate seems like a fine tribe. And I think if Daniel's at the merge, I think that's where this gets interesting of who works together and who tries to split off. If they go to tribal and Mike and Daniel is gone next, I think this could be a decently unified group. And maybe Mike's on the outs, but it could be decently unified.
Yeah, and that always makes it interesting because say everything that we're thinking is right. We have one more episode before the merge. And if they were to lose, I mean, generally you'd see, okay, if there's one tribe that has 5, you see the other 2 tribes more like bond together to get out the larger numbers.
Yep.
But I think it makes it a lot more interesting if they would go in, hypothetically 4-4-4, that I think it could create a lot of different avenues for how the game could move forward.
I'm torn in this because I'm usually with you in the I want the even tribe numbers as much as we can. But I kind of like watching Ika just self-implode. So I kind of want them to lose again. I also wouldn't mind Taco losing in to see what happens if maybe they take Jonathan out. And I just like everyone on Vati too much. I also kind of know Daniel's gone. So the long-term fan in me, I think, is looking at it saying, all right, Vati should lose here, get rid of Daniel, and then we have the greater good of a 4-4-4 merge, which I think would get blown out by the stupid hourglass. Anyway, however, the short-term fan of me is just like, I want entertainment now. Ika's the hot mess. Let's send them home. But the only other part of this that I really enjoyed was Mike confronting Daniel, and then Mike's like, that's playing me. And Daniel's like, yeah, I've lied to you a lot.
I'm telling you, the more he opens his mouth, the worse he comes off. It's been 3 episodes since he opened his mouth where it was just like, okay, like I like what he's doing here.
Survivor 101. One, it's tough to admit that you're lying to someone anyway. But if you're going to say, I did it once, I'm so sorry, here's why I did it, blah, blah, blah. No, I lied to you a lot. I know you thought I was your number one, but I lied to you a lot. Daniel, how much lower can I drop your score?
Well, I can only knock him down one more peg. We'll see.
You can only knock him down one more. I think I can get him two or three. We'll see if he's there yet. I don't know, but all right. We leave Vati. We go to the reward challenge, and I love Jeff saying the reward was 10 decent-sized fish. For only the winner. Not much here. Chanel and Roxway set out, which I think made Ika very happy, although he was on the sideline yelling, so maybe not that much. They have to go through a ropes course, then shoot what's essentially a basketball. I put Taku wins, but I also put Jonathan wins.
But did he though? Because he gets called out for after the reward because it was Dre that comes back and says, "Oh, he pretty much did it all for him." But it's still three people that have to communicate and moving. Now, maybe he was the lead communicator, but it wasn't like he was able to do all that by himself. Same with, we saw a little bit different when they were, shooting into the basket, that each tribe member had to do it. So it wasn't like he just went up and knocked 4 in a row. And so while yes, he is very good at challenges and, maybe he's that leader when it comes to it, I thought this was very much a unified gelled tribe that dominated this challenge more than just him himself.
I think this was more unified compared to the other performances, which is just Jonathan steamrolling. However, getting through those ropes so quickly, I think is because Jonathan.
But that's just because he was a good communicator. It wasn't like he was doing it, swinging everyone around to untie the ropes.
No, he's not. But he's but I think with that strength and the amount of working out and everything he's done, he knows how to do something like this very, very quickly. And also his tribe just listens to him. So it is the communication part that I think comes with him being that beast. Like these other two tribes, anyone starts yelling, they're all going to start yelling.
Yeah. I said, I think it spoke way more to how they are as a tribe than it did as
That's
him.
Fair.
We know he's impressive individually in these challenges, but I think this one was more of just a dominant tribe win than it was, Jonathan, carried it all for him.
Yeah, I'm with you, but I think I've thought about this. If we take Jonathan out, does Taku win that handedly? I don't think so. Do they win? Maybe. That handedly, no. But regardless, Jonathan is the winner of the challenge, and then he quickly loses by opening his mouth. Jeff asks if the tribe is finding its core, which to the people I watched this episode with who don't watch Survivor and just indulged me by sitting there, they laughed at that. I laughed at that. It makes no sense. And then Jonathan decides, we're a strong four, Jeff, and Marianne's face can't even hide it. And that whole tribe is just like, oh, why? It's a theme this season.
Yeah, it's obviously bad to say in a game like this, but he reminds me more of an old school player that he's putting a lot of value on. There's unity in the tribe. It's, tribe strength going and, doing all the work for your tribe. And so, yes, it was horrible to say, but it just made me think of he's more of a throwback player of, would have thrived in the older seasons.
He would have thrived in the older season to an extent. I mean, he would, but he's not playing an older season. And I really do think it's a theme. Players this season who have put themselves in a worse position from opening their mouth. I think I can list Zach, I can list Daniel, I can list Jonathan, I can list Swathi, I can list Roxroy. Need I keep going? The amount of people that have sunk their game, Tori as well, people who have sunk their games by just talking.
No, agreed. But I also think now we'll see if it really ends up panning out in the merge. But if it doesn't, I almost think that it was also just a moment where it was, well, let's put a little bit of shade of doubt in this happy kumbaya tribe where at least for the next few episodes, I don't think it's really going to play much of an impact at all, if any.
I don't think that one comment is going to play a huge role. Rather, I just think it speaks to the kind of player Jonathan is and where his weak spots lie. And I think we could see him misspeak by revealing too much information later down the line. That's more what I'm worried about.
That's something that'll be interesting to follow. Like I said, I didn't blow it out of proportion. Obviously, it's something that you don't want to say. And at least he was able to, be self-aware enough to say, hey, I regretted saying that. But
Yep.
I'd be shocked if this one particular comment had repercussions. It'd be more if it was a pattern.
I'm with you there, but you never know. And I'm worried it's just a pattern for later because he may have unified that 3 against him. Maybe, just maybe. Because they all were like in unison. Jonathan, come on.
Yeah, I think if anything, though, like if they were to lose, which I don't see it happening, but if they were to lose, maybe it puts them in some trouble. But if not, why would they not want to stick with Jonathan? Because moving forward, I'm sure once, everyone has all the idols, and so, it's able to tell, okay, who from each tribe has it, because all that information goes around like wildfire. So they're gonna be like, hey, he doesn't have an idol. And I think the other 3 would just be smart saying, yes, we're working with him, but he's a great shield for us moving forward.
He is a great shield, but how long that shield can last in the game is a big question mark. And the longer he lasts, the bigger target I think the 3 of them have on their back.
That's true.
Well. But we'll see. We go to Taku. They're all like, wow, Jeff undersold the fish size because Jeff apparently lives like a king and thinks fish are big. I don't know why he said decent size. That's not Jeff. Jeff is saying the fish are normally gigantic, ginormous, every other big word. So they're decent size. The fish are big. They're all annoyed at Jonathan. And then we get a montage of Jonathan because we need Jeff's boner moment here of the season where he just vacillates and is like, oh my God, Jonathan, let's praise him more. Jonathan's like, I did pull-ups when I was 3 because my dad made me and he made us run up a hill. And I'm just like, that doesn't sound like what a 3-year-old should be doing. Like, it sounds almost a little like inappropriate.
This just made me think that it was incredibly purposeful for him to be the strongest, most athletic guy out there. Because think of just, Jeff's favorites in the past, the Colbys, the Boston Robs, the Terry Dietz. And Jeff is just like, it's been a while since I've just had a guy come in and just dominate challenges. And so we're just taking one of them.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, here's my alpha male. Jonathan, can we be best friends after the season? Saying, can you marry me, please? Everything. Like, let's go. But Jeff has his moment. Good for him, as Jonathan talks about doing pull-ups at the age of 3, which no comment. I got nothing. We go to Ika for the first time since episode 2. And I did check. That was the first time last episode we didn't see a tribe at all in 42 seasons of the show. But we see that. And we get a very funny moment where Romeo's like, Roxroy is annoying me. And he says, quote, show montage of Roxroy bossing me around. And I just love it.
Yeah, and just a quick side note, I think that now obviously we saw the unbalanced editing for Erica and Heather last season, or as our last guest like to call him E and H, but I think seeing all this, like I think it really drastically hurts stock in any of them potentially being the winner or doing very well moving forward.
That's fair. And honestly, the only person I can see doing any bit well in that tribe is Romeo. The rest of them, I think, are a disaster. Tori doesn't know what she's doing. Roxroy really doesn't know what he's doing. And Romeo's, I think, just treading water at this point.
I'd say Drea could as well.
Oh, Drea's there as well. Drea,
I think her best bet is if she can get footing with another tribe.
I agree with you.
Merge, like if she finds new allies.
Yeah. And that's why I think Romeo would be better at that, but I think Drea could be decent at it. And Drea having any advantage that's public info is not very good, but we'll see how that plays out. Swathi says she wants Drea out to Tori, and they say, let's pull in Roxroy. Roxroy? That'd be your first pick?
That made no sense whatsoever.
No, made none.
He's not like Roxroy. You can not like a lot of things about him. Completely fair. He's shown, some stuff that he may not be ideal to be out there with, but one of the things you can pick up on him pretty well is he's, an older guy, seems a little bit more, cut from that older cloth that I'd be shocked if he was not that, hey, my word is my bond. Like if I told you that I'm with you, I'm with you. So I'd be shocked if Roxroy would be the one jumping. And from coming from someone that's like Tori, I get that she was reluctant at first, signing off on that. Like, I feel like that's something you should be able to pick up right away.
Yeah. Yeah, it's day 8. You've lived with Rockstory for a week. This shouldn't be that difficult. I'm sorry. I know Romeo is more of a schemy player, and like maybe you'd be worried about him telling the plan, but you're not going to convince Rockstory anything. I'm sorry, you're not.
No,
Every plan
I,
I have, I'm saying, can I avoid Rocks? Unless it's I know Rockstory wants this, can I avoid him being involved?
yeah, I almost think that their best bet wouldn't be to flip Andrea. It'd just be, hey, let's see if we can rally everyone to get Roxroy out. I think
Uh,
that would be the much better play here.
I think it would, but I think if you're going to make the move to get rid of Drea, going at Romeo first is how you do it. And if Romeo says no, I say, you know what? Too bad.
Yeah,
All right, this
no,
isn't gonna. I just
you're
say
right.
this isn't gonna work. Tori, goodbye.
I also think
Or
it's
Rox.
something that I don't think that's the conversation that Tori should have been having.
Nope. I mean, it's just what we're seeing on the show. I mean, it looks like they all don't really like Roxroy, but it looks like Tori's the one who can't hide it as well. Why is she going
So
up to Roxroy with a
I
plan?
will I will have plenty of things to say about Tori later, but I guess in one positive, I mean, she did do the best that she could. I mean, she was stroking Roxroy's ego, saying, "I don't know how we'd survive," and a guy like that is just eating that up.
Mhm.
So I mean, like she gave it the old college try, but like you also should have seen the end result coming.
100% with you on all of that. Tori talks about how she doesn't. She also doesn't like Roxroy. She tells him about Drea's advantage, which and that's another area where I'm also going to give Drea a bit of not bit of a ding, and that's why I say I don't put her on the level of Romeo, but I think she's the second best person on this tribe to go forward by far. Um, because I think this is something Roxley is going to hold against you. Uh, yeah. Tori goes up to Roxley. He's like, "Do you know about Trace?" And she's like, "No, I don't. What does she have?" She tells him, and then he's like, "Wait, can we work together?" And he's like, "Nah, we haven't lost yet. I don't want to talk about it." And let me go tell Drea that you told me about her advantage. And amazingly, Tori did this in such a way that she looks like the bad guy and not Drea for not telling Roxroy in the first place.
I think that just speaks to Tori's in a bit over her head out there.
That I also think if that happens, I'd just be like, "Are you kidding me, Roxroy? Drea didn't tell you about the advantage. I did, and I'm the bad guy." I'd be like following him. Of like, "Hey, let's talk to Drea. Let's talk to Drea about it." But yeah, Rockstar tells Drea that, and then Swathy says at the pretty much at the end, she's like, "I like Tori. I want to work with her, but I ain't going down with her." And you're right, Tori. She didn't go down with Tori. She went down by herself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that was from her own blunders.
Yes. So Ika is a bit of a mess. Uh, Sam says my hair is nice. I appreciate that. And as we go to the good old immunity challenge, um, Jeff's like, "How is the rain?" Daniel says, "High's body heat kept him warm." Also, you want to talk to someone who has some really cool hair? Now, look at High's Instagram.
Yeah,
That's
I
all I
saw
will
that.
say. High is a beautiful man. And then Marianne. Oh, Marianne. She tries to say the phrase again. And as far as I know, what I'm curious about was I know last season for sure they had to say the phrase. Like it said in the parchment, you have to say it. And the only other difference was if all 3 idols aren't found, the idol is dead. So you need all 3 to be activated for it to work. Is it in the parchment for this season that they have to say it, or is it just you can say
No,
it?
because Mike hasn't.
He hasn't, but I'm questioning is he breaking the rules and they're not catching him, or
I,
is it
I
not a
don't
rule?
think so. I think they're just letting it go. And because I don't even think that you saw Xander say it every time, because there were a few times where I think it was post the Brad vote out last season where no, like the other 2 idols weren't around, and I think there was a challenge or 2 where he didn't say it, and so I think this is another, I don't know, I guess a misplay by Marianne where she should have thought, okay, when someone reads the note, they'll see that this was clearly what I was trying to do. So there's no need to repeat the phrase until someone else does. And then little does she know that if that does come, that Mike's going to follow up with his soccer line, which he's pumped to talk about.
Yeah, I just want to hear Mike say the phrase, but we'll see. We'll see if he ever does. I don't think he does, and I think honestly, this is the case where we should go back to the rules of the idol from last season. No one, they all don't find it and say it. None of them have an idol, but this show is like advantage, advantage, advantage. Let's put 3 idols. Let's make sure we have 3 idols in the game. And yeah, this season does make no sense in some ways, and this is one of them.
Yeah, I think the only reason that Marianne potentially could get away with it is because she has done herself no favors at speaking before these challenges. So some people just may write it off as just being like, I don't know what she's talking about. I'm not paying attention, like whatever.
Marianne is the person who could pull it off, but I think the amount of time she's going to pull it off is not good. Also, the fact that the entirety of Vati knows the phrase. They know that what she's saying and that she has the advantage. So we'll see how that plays out. It's actually the entirety of Vati knows it, and the entirety of Taku also knows it. So the only people who don't know it are the 4 remaining people on Ika. Oh, good old hot mess tribe, and they will figure it out once someone finds the beware advantage, which we all know who it is, but I'm not going to say that in case anyone did not see the preview for this season to start with, where they spoiled it, and we were at episode 5, and yeah.
Yeah, you kind of thought that would have been the first person they would have.
You'd think. You'd also think they would pay attention and not put something from episode 5 in episode, not something from episode 5 in the preview to episode 1. But you know what? They're taking Australian Survivor's playbook and saying, "Hey, hold my beer."
Well, they've had an entire season or entire year almost of Australian Survivor being on Paramount Plus, and then coming down and just being pretty much trashed that it's not the Australian version. So maybe they just leaned into it and thought, why not?
Yeah, let's take everything from Australia. Let's take the spoiling of this. No, stop it. You could take some things, but not all of them. Ayana, what do you think of this challenge? Because I kind of liked it. You have 2 people tethered together pulling a boat. They have to then jump, grab a key, and then do the fish puzzle. What do you think of that? Because it was something different.
As far as US challenges, I think it's better. I think it's still pretty predictable that it's going to be there's always going to be a puzzle. I think Speaking of Australian Survivor, you've shown that there doesn't always need to be a puzzle at the end, but this is the recipe that they're going forward with all their challenges moving forward. So if it's something they're going to stick with, I'd at least like it to be a little bit different and add variety. So as far as that's concerned, I thought it was a good challenge.
The variety I'm talking about was like having people having to swim and pull a boat.
Yeah.
I kind of like. Fair. Yeah, not much. Yeah, Romeo and Daniel sit out. What else is new? Taku wins. Vadi comes in second by a hair. And good old Ika, the Hot Mess Express, back to tribal again.
Well, you could call them the Hot Mess Express, or just they're either a hot mess or they're not on screen. Like it's one of the two.
I think that makes them more of a hot mess, honestly.
Yeah, but you'd have to think that there would have been something from those 2 days that they could have shown.
I think they could have, but I think it would have just been more of the same of Rockstory's annoying us. We don't like Rockstory. And listen, I wouldn't put it past the show to have some of the clips that we saw of what they called day 8 of Ika to be from days 6 or 7. I just wouldn't put it past.
That's true. Yeah, no, that's possible.
So they come back from the challenge and we get maybe one of my favorite rock storylines. Why? He's grabbing his head, screaming why, and says, "Oh, this is easy. Tori's going home. I guess this isn't too bad."
Well, that would have been easy, but someone else had different plans.
Yep.
And that was Swathi pretty much just torpedoing her own game.
And she torpedoed her own game, and I also want to call out the editing here, and maybe in a good way. This was an obvious vote, and they made it obvious.
And I think that's perfectly fine when they do that.
I'm with you. It's an obvious one. Don't try to sing and dance your way out of it. It literally, I have the one note of Rockstory saying Tori's going, which is honestly a precursor. She's not going home. And then everything is Swathi. Romeo talking to Tori about why he wasn't included in her little plan. And she says, "Oh, well, because of Swathi." Oh, Romeo's like, "I want Swathi gone. Drea, can we get rid of Swathi?" Okay. They talk about how great her social game is. Drea, Romeo, and Tori bond over, "Oh, Swathi all said we were her number one." Interesting. We see nothing of Roxroy because he is not involved in this plan. I don't know if they asked him and he said no, or they just didn't bother. I hope they didn't bother, but see. And then Swathi tries to throw Tori under the bus to Drea. And you know, when that's all we're getting from the person going home, we know who's going home.
Yeah, and I think it was also you saw her pretty predominant in this episode, and when it's someone that you haven't really seen a ton of for the season, that's also usually a dead giveaway that this might be their swan song.
For sure. And just continuing on, we go to Tribal. And this Tribal was the everybody but Roxroy talked. And Romeo. Romeo didn't have much, but Roxroy didn't say much. Which I was like, okay. Jeff asked Drea what the vibe is like in the tribe, and she stays silent for about 30 seconds of airtime. I don't know how long it was in real time. She's like, I don't know how to explain it. We're just not a team, not working well together. And then Tori's like, I hope tonight sets us on the right path. That was a common theme. Hopefully, when we get rid of one person, we're on the right path. No.
I feel like that's normally a common theme in most seasons, though, or whatever. Is we just need to get rid of one of these two people, and then everything will all be better. And that, I don't know, people always believe that. I think it's the right thing to say.
Yeah, it's the right thing to say. We either get that or we get the kumbaya, we're losing a member. This is going to be like a murder. So, Swathi calls Tori out on trying to blindside Drea, which I get it. Getting on the aggressive, good attempt. Not good execution though. This is one of those situations. I think this whole tribal represents it. Is when you're desperate. Like I feel like there are two ways you can go about it. Going about it like being very calm, being very stoic, like nothing is happening. That's one way to go about it. The other way is to basically plead your case and be like, how dare you say this about me? This isn't happening. And you either get believed or most of the time you just look like the crazy person who's going home.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I think also at that, any time where you're trying to throw everything against the wall at tribal, it's normally too little too late.
I'm very much with you there. And I like Tori has had some good confessionals, or not confessionals, bits in Tribal earlier in the season with Zach. She's like, I don't seem to remember that. Here she's like, Tori, Swathi is great at projecting what she said onto me. I kind of enjoyed that. Drea's like, I hate hearing my name in all of this because it's all about her, but she's not getting sent home. And that's another reason I think Dre is not in as good a position as Romeo because people realize she's a threat. No one thinks Romeo's a threat yet. Swathi, I just wrote desperate, trying to pin things on Tori. Romeo wants the tribe to be cohesive. And Tori's like, it's hard to combat Swathi because nothing she's saying is based in reality.
Yeah, I mean, you can't be telling everyone the same thing. Like that's people talk. This isn't season 2. People talk. Yeah. They're going to compare notes, and you got to find your way to either know for 100% certainty it's not coming out, or at least have some different variety to it.
100% different variety, and I'm worried that Tori's little sarcasm could go the wrong way when she's actually in trouble. It's like it's working now because it's like she's just doing it to the person who's clearly going home. But when it's her time and maybe her against Roxford, I don't think the sarcasm is going to work, but we'll see.
There's a few things that she did this episode that now the others was done more in like confessional, but there's a few things she did this episode that I don't think were good looks.
Very much with you there. We will definitely talk about it as we will eventually drop probably everyone's rating. I don't think many people improved this episode. Can't really think of anyone who I could say had a good episode. But we go to the vote. Swathi and Tori vote for each other. Swathi plays her shot in the dark. We hand it to Jeff again because they're realizing that it's cool. And Jeff opens it. Not safe. And it's 3-1. We don't have another unanimous vote thanks to Roxroy, who also votes with Swathi. And goodbye, Swathi. It's time to go. And her final words are just about, she's like, I would have done a lot better in this game if I had just gotten past this one mistake I made. And then she has to invoke Boston Rob saying, oh, he won on the 4th time. So if you bring me back for All Stars, I win. Which, I mean, she did get voted out around the same place he did in their first time.
His first season, he got voted out. He was the merge vote. He was out at 10.
Yes, but still.
Well, and I also heard from interviews that she can actually confuse him with Sister Nino.
Did she actually?
Thinking about his All-Stars appearance, not his first one. That's really what I read. I didn't read the entire. I think it was EW, so it was probably Dalton Ross's article. I didn't read all of it. I just kind of I skimmed it, and that was one of the headlines that was on there, that it was a bit of a mix-up.
I'll have to check that out because one, I give Dalton Ross every bit of credence in the world, but she very much sounded like she was talking about Boston Rob, but knew what she was talking about in terms of getting facts right. Because she was like, Boston Rob didn't do well his first time. Invite me back to All Stars, I'll win. It took him 4 tries, but I don't know. I don't think she's Boston Rob. I don't think you get to be an early you don't get to be any kind of pre-jury boot and get to come back unless you're an alpha male that Jeff loves or the fans vote you in and you're beautiful like Kelly Wentworth.
Well, or say what you want about Boston Rob. Obviously, Johnny goes on it a lot. There's a lot of people that aren't fans on him. And I'm not saying I'm sticking up for him, but the one thing that he does do is he brings it in confessional.
He does.
He's good for TV that way.
Absolutely does.
So I think that's your best ticket.
That's very fair. And being the guy that Jeff loves, I think that helps. And Swathi does not seem to be Jeff's favorite due to almost no fault of her own. But regardless.
And I think it's just tough. I mean, when you're 19 out there, that's why you rarely see younger, either male or female, really do well, because life experience matters. Being able to read people and know how to talk to different generations of people, it matters. And you don't necessarily get that outside of your family when you're only 19.
I'm very much with you there. 2 questions for you. 1, was Swathi robbed?
No.
I agree with you. Okay. Very cut and dry. I've seen people saying she was robbed. I'm sorry. I think she flopped. I mean, she was robbed in that she's was on an awful tribe. And I think I can say the same for Zach. I can say really the same for all 6 of them. They got put on one of the worst tribes in the history of the game in terms of just challenge ability and also the cohesiveness. It just did not work. But other than that, this was Swathi overplaying and getting sent home. Same thing that happened to Zach. Same thing that looks like it's happening to Daniel. And I can keep going on players, but I'll save that for later. Players that I think are overplaying and will get themselves sent home.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's tough for people because, they don't want to come out and they don't want to be complacent and play it safe. But I think time and time again, you have to be a very special player to come out and play balls to the wall from the very beginning and do well. I almost think that first stage of the game, your pre-merge, that has to be about establishing your relationships moving forward. And then you make your moves once you get post-merge.
Absolutely. And I'm seeing Sam's comparing Swathi to JD a little bit. Interesting comparison for sure. Younger player getting sent home early due to overplaying. Could be that's a very good point. The other question I have for you, being talked about a lot online, I don't really agree with it. Should the odds on the shot in the dark be changed from 1 and 6?
So complicated answer on it.
Here we go.
More of the purist in me, no, I don't think it should be there at all. If we're being point blank. But if it's something that if it's something that they want to do moving forward and they want to entice people to play, which, that's a production decision, I think it should be, because at 1 and 6, I mean, what we're looking at it, this is the third person
this season, 4th
overall. So you're getting pretty close, where I wouldn't be surprised if we go the first 6 times with it being an 0 for 6. And so while I don't agree with it, I don't think it should be there. I think if production wants to continue to make this a thing moving forward, I think you have to increase the odds.
To what?
1 and 4.
Okay. Interesting. I completely disagree with you. completely and utterly disagree with you. I don't hate the twist as much, and that's coming from the guy who hates everything. I think it's a fine twist. Maybe I could deal with it not being in every season. Like I don't need it, but I don't think they should just get rid of it. I'm fine with it. And I think it should stay at 1 at 6. I think it's called the shot in the dark for a reason. You shouldn't have very good odds to be safe. It's your last ditch effort. It's the you don't have an idol, you have nothing. You're just trying to keep yourself safe by any means necessary. You're giving up your vote. I'm fine with it being 1-6. If you want to go to 1 in 5, I can deal with it. But I also think it's just a simple matter of fact of no matter what, the odds of you picking a safe scroll are a lot less than you picking a not safe scroll. It's not like we're going down every time and it's like 1 and 6. Oh, now it's 1 and 5 and 1 and 4. I've seen people say that online as well, which I also don't agree with.
So
But
I think my hat it's coming more if I'm putting on a production hat rather than if I'm putting on what
fair.
I personally would like, because I think what production wants, what they want to see is, they obviously want to see the blind side. So they want that big moment where this person, is on the bottom. They know they're going home and a chance to get safe. And I think 1 in 6, like it's really unrealistic. It's going to work out. So like I was saying, I think if production wants it to be more impactful, they need to increase it. As a fan, I'm perfectly fine with where it's at.
okay, that's an interesting take. I'm production, I get that, but I'm also looking at it of the producer who's there for the game. You know what I mean? Like I'd be
Yeah.
the producer, wouldn't care much about the TV product as I would just the game of Survivor. And at that point, I'd say 1 and 6. I can maybe go to 1 and 5 and stop it right there. But from the TV perspective, maybe 1 and 4. But I also think what people I think almost want to see is it being used to save, like it saving people and it doing it at least somewhat consistently. I think that's a disaster. I think if this works once a season, if that's good. Once every couple seasons, I think that's the sweet spot because I think it's really going to screw over some people, and we're going to see somebody who goes home with 1 vote with no votes, and it's just going to feel like really they got screwed. And I think that then people are going to complain, oh well, the shot in the dark shouldn't be more than 1 in 6. Why'd this person get lucky? Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think moving forward, I think that if it's something they want to keep, I truly think they'll do something to adjust it. I don't know if it's going to be increasing the odds, or another thing that I read is if, you just make it a larger bag, like you put more than 6 in there and there's more than a few safe, but you don't replace them as the season moves on.
Yeah, so what that would do essentially is increasing the odds every time someone picks.
Or if someone were to get lucky right away, it decreases them moving forward.
I'm
not saying I like that.
I don't
That
know.
was just another idea that I saw.
That's fair, and it's worth considering. I don't love that as much. I don't hate it, but we'll see. I also wouldn't mind seeing when multiple get played at a tribal if that ever happens. But I mean, so far 3 have been played. 3 have given us nothing. 4 overall, and I think if we're not even at 6 yet, that we can say, oh, like the math hasn't worked out. And I think if 2 more get played, you could have one of them be safe. You could have none of them be safe. So we'll see.
Well, it depends if Jonathan's picking or not. There might be a little, tip off from Jeff.
I swear to God. I swear.
If Jonathan gets the first shot in the dark played correctly, people are going to lose their fucking minds.
I'm gonna give you Doomsday at the merge. You ready? Here's what will make Twitter explode beyond belief. We run the hourglass twist again, the same exact way. Jonathan's on the winning tribe. They lose. I don't say Daniel goes to Exile. It doesn't really matter who. Or Tori. No, say Tori goes to Exile. That'll just make people flip more. Tori goes to Exile. She smashes the hourglass. She's safe. Jonathan is vulnerable. He goes home. He plays shot in the dark. He's safe. And then who do we lose? Let's say Drea. Just make everyone freak out. Let's say Drea goes home, the next strongest person, arguably, in the game physically.
Everyone hates it but Jeff and Jonathan's family.
I hope not. And I could deal with it. I don't know. It'd be entertaining. I think it would be. You know what? I would go back on Twitter for that just to see people freak out. I think I'd enjoy it, but because I just enjoy seeing Twitter get their panties in a bunch.
well, everything's either the best thing ever or the world's ending. So, there's never, you don't really check Twitter for a reasonable take out there.
No, I don't. I tried that a while ago and I realized I was making a mistake. And that's also what I could say about Survivor Reddit sometimes.
Oh, Survivor Reddit is a deep, nasty hole.
So you every now and then get some good things, but if my doomsday scenario happens, I think Reddit. Listen, no one's gonna even watch this, but people are gonna call me out and say you manifested this. You were the worst person alive, and I'll get so much hate for it, and I'll love it because you know what, I can take it. So if that happens, give me the hate. Don't give Dan any of it, and you know what? If it'll make you listen to the podcast, I'm all for it.
There you go. Sometimes need to do a little turncoat to spice things up.
You know what? Let's see what happens. All right. Are you ready to take a commercial break before we rate our final 13?
Absolutely.
Let's do it. Let's hear about cereal, erections, and smoking.
Lucy Nicotine is a company founded by Caltech scientists and former smokers looking for a better and cleaner nicotine alternative. Finally, tobacco alternatives that don't suck.
Researched and developed for 3 years to be made for people, not patients. Lucy has created a nicotine gum with 4 milligrams of nicotine that comes in 3 flavors: wintergreen, cinnamon, and pomegranate. Lucy also has a lozenge with 4 milligrams of nicotine in cherry ice flavor. Each and every flavor actually tastes great, and it's convenient and discreet. Products can be enjoyed anywhere, on flights, at work, on the go, or even in the gym.
I am so happy that Lucy is sponsoring us. Ever since they came on board, I have gotten no less than 5 of my friends transitioned over to Lucy and put their cigarettes down. They like the gum. I'm used to seeing the packages all around. This stuff is great, and it's really helping people make much healthier choices. So get on board and join the Lucy movement.
Hey, it's 2021. Get rid of your cigarettes, unplug your vape, throw out your dip, and get some Lucy nicotine gum or lozenges. This is the real deal. A subscription to Lucy comes directly to your door each month. It's so simple that you don't even have to leave your house because Lucy has delivery down.
Reality NSFW listeners, go to lucy.co and use promo code SURVIVOR to get 20% off all products, including gum or lozenges. That's lucy.co and use promo code SURVIVOR at checkout. Also, I have to give this disclaimer. Warning, this product contains nicotine derived from tobacco. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. That's lucy.co, and be sure to use that promo code SURVIVOR.
This episode of Reality NSFW is sponsored by Blue Chew. Say it with us, Blue Chew. Blue Chew is making waves and bringing more confidence to the bedroom by offering chewable tablets that can help men get stronger and longer lasting erections. That's right, we're giving away super hard dicks.
Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. Blue Chew's tablets help men achieve harder, stronger erections to combat all forms of ED.
Blue Chew is an online prescription service, so no visits to the doctor offices, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. And it ships right to your door in a discreet package. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. And the best part, it's all done online.
Blue Chew's licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredient and strength for your prescription. Don't like swallowing pills? No problem here. Blue Chew's sildenafil and tadalafil tablets are chewable. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA and they prepare and ship direct, so it's cheaper than a pharmacy.
Hey, if you're looking to give that immunity idol to someone, or you don't want to be voted out of a crater, don't worry, Blue Chew's got you covered. So if you could benefit from extra confidence when it's time to perform, visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information.
And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use promo code SURVIVOR at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's Blue Chew, BLUECHEW.com, promo code SURVIVOR to receive your first month free. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast.
We're all trying to eat better, but healthy breakfast doesn't have to be boring. Magic Spoon has the amazing flavors you love, but without all the bad stuff. And it's amazing as a midnight snack right before bed.
0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving. That's only 140 calories per serving.
It's keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and low-carb. And build your own box. Available flavors to build your very own custom bundle are cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, blueberry, cinnamon, cookies and cream, and my favorite, maple waffle. Now, Magic Spoon recently brought back their 2 super popular flavors, cookies and cream and maple waffle. Thank goodness. But they're back permanently. And when these flavors were first introduced for a limited time, they sold out extremely quickly. Now, I'm here to let you know you can get them again or try them for the first time. Why? Because they're delicious and indulgent.
Johnny, Magic Spoon has so many great flavors that I really enjoy, and even my kids enjoy them. We have the cocoa, fruity frosted, peanut butter. All these are really great combinations. They enjoy waking up in the morning and getting some Magic Spoon right off to start their day great before they head off to school. I think everybody listening should give Magic Spoon a try, or if you've tried them already, it's time to reorder. Let's get you some more Magic Spoon and get your day started right.
Hey, when I finish a podcast late at night, the first thing I'm thinking is not sleep. It's let me grab a delicious bowl of Magic Spoon before I go to bed.
So go to magicspoon.com/survivor to grab a custom bundle of cereal and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code SURVIVOR at checkout to save $5 off your order. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember to get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/survivor and use the code SURVIVOR to save $5 off. Thank you, Magic Spoon, for sponsoring this podcast.
All right, welcome back. It is time for us to rate our final 13. Dan, are you ready for this magic that we are about to embark on?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. And as per usual, let's start with the good old winning tribe of the day. In first place was our lovely Taku, who is right here in that. Going alphabetically, let's start with Jonathan. Jonathan had the most going on of anybody on Taku, which is saying a lot because we didn't get much from them. Start me off with Jonathan. You had him at a 6 last week.
I'm going to keep him at a 6. I get that, he had that blunder that everyone's talking about. I don't see it being that big of a deal as of right now. Could be wrong. It's happened before. But
you wrong never.
Yeah, I still think he is in a pretty good spot, and I'd honestly be shocked if they lost an Immunity Challenge before the merge. So,
all right. I'm bringing him down to a 5. I also went a 6. He's a challenge beast. He's close to the merge. That's a good thing. I also think it means his time is running out. So dinging him a little bit for that. And the dumb comment, I don't think it will directly affect him, but I think it's a sign of how he's not that good a player. So I'm worried about him. He's at a 5. And he also is at a 5 with our next person, in my opinion. That's Lindsay. Lindsay's at a 5 because we got nothing from her. I wrote in my notes, who? I remember who she is. Where do we see her in the episode? We got nothing. She stays at a 5.
Yeah, I've rated her 5 as well. That's just my standard grade. If I know literally nothing about you, I can't prop you up and I can't drag you down at this point. I don't think it says much about her potential to win this game, but as far as now, she stays right at a 5.
She will stay there, but the minute she gets to the merge, I think she's going down. Unless we just get a major spike of goodness from her, because if it's a major spike of crap, she ain't winning. But then again, we saw Erica last year go from nothing to something. I don't think she's the next Erica. I've been proven wrong before. All right. Next up is everybody's favorite, Marianne. Why don't you start, Marianne?
I have her at a 6. I think
Oh.
she's once again. I don't have anyone too low on this tribe because I'd be shocked if they went to tribal next week, and I think she's one step closer to having that become a full idol. I think she's going to be set up that if they do go in with 4, she's probably not going to be the one that's going to be picked off. And I think she could be in a good spot moving forward. I think there's some things that maybe we need to tighten up a little bit, but I think overall she has that great personality that I think are going to make a lot of people laugh. And so I have her to 6.
Okay. I was at a 3 with Marianne last week. I'm at a 4 with her now. Closer to the merge, meaning her vote penalty is closer to ending, and she's closer to having idol. That's good. Jonathan, potentially even slightly worsening his position. That's good for her. What I'm worried about is by some miracle they lose. I think she's almost certainly gone. That's bad. The other thing that's bad is her personality. While great early on, I think would get grating on people, and I don't know if it can be conducive to a winning game. Also, with how honest she is, just telling everybody everything. I don't know if she has that like it factor, that sneakiness that I think is required to win. But I hope she proves me wrong. I would love to see her make a deep run in this game. And last but not least is probably my favorite person on this tribe, maybe one of my favorite people in the game, and that's Omer. Omer, I don't know how you say it. I've heard it said both ways.
I think it's Omer. I believe we've been saying it wrong. That's what at least I've heard. Not from him, so can't confirm, but...
Okay. I've heard Jeff say both. I've heard everyone say both. All right, Omer. He's at a 5, so I have everyone at a 5 on this tribe except for for Marianne. And the reason I do is he still doesn't have a vote. He will not have a vote at the first tribe that goes to, which could very well be the merge vote. That's really bad. That is really bad, and he could be going into the merge not knowing he doesn't have a vote. Actually, he might know that. Chanel might tell him. Never mind. Chanel might tell him. He might know that. But if not, they go to tribal. Him not having a vote in a tribe before, not great. But I still think he has Jonathan as a meat shield. So good and the bad.
I think if it comes into play at the merge, him not having a vote, I think that's going to hurt more someone he's working with than him directly. I don't think he takes the hit on that. Now, obviously, when you get to a merge, and if there is that hourglass twist, maybe there's only very few people on the table, so it can always turn out not to be that way. But I think he's in the best spot of anyone on this tribe, which is why I have him at a 7. I like what we have seen of him so far, and I think he has the ability to go deep into the game.
I will wait before I bump Omer up. But you're making a bold claim. I hope you're right. Really hope you're right here. But
hasn't worked out for me before, so we'll see.
It has not. No. We then move on to Chanel. I still need to think of my rating because I'm torn. What do you have for Chanel?
I have her at a 6. I believe I had her at a 6 last week.
You did.
I don't think her position has much changed. I don't think she took much of a hit. I think if anything, it helped her out a little bit, but I don't think it helped her out substantially enough to raise her. She's one of the people that I will definitely be watching going into the merge, because if they lose, I don't think she's the one going home, and I could see her going and making new friends at the merge.
All right. You know what? Your argument convinced me to bump Chanel up a little bit, actually. I am going up to a 7 on her. She may be the highest person I have in the game. I was impressed with her coming back from tribal. I really am. Got no skin off her back for basically being just as guilty as Daniel is without casting the vote. She's in, I think, a decent spot in this tribe. She isn't going home, and I think everyone regards her well. Maybe she's not that tight with them, but I think they all have her in a high regard. Yeah, and I think her potential is very high. I think she's a very, very capable player, as we've seen. So I have hope for her. But next up, someone I don't have much hope for. And I don't know. You start with Daniel as well because I don't know whether I'm giving him the battle or not. What do you have for Daniel?
I've been debating if I'm going to drop him or not. And I don't know if I want to go 1 because I think it's unrecoverable. But, I don't think he can recover from it. We're going bold. We're saying he's a 1. I think he is in a world of trouble.
You know what?
And even if he's able to make it to the merge, from everything that we've seen of his ability with talking with players out there, doesn't inspire hope.
I love him, but he's got the 1. This is my version of the paddle because I don't own a paddle. He is getting the second person to get the Alex Rubino 1 ever, the first being Heather. For someone who didn't go to Tribal, boy, was this episode bad. It's really not good. Listen, the only thing I think saving him is that the merge could be coming up. If not, he's in big trouble. This tribe is not that strong. They could very well lose. He's very well likely gone. Only the other thing helping him is that Mike doesn't have a vote. Shot of winning this game, next to none. Ability to play the game well, I'm sorry, it's next to none at this point. I love him as a character. I bet he is a great human, and I think he is a player who knows what to do, but has no idea how to execute it. I love him. He's in way over his head. He's at a 1 for me as well.
No, his only hope is that he has a Freaky Friday moment and he switches with Tony Vlachos. And outside of that, he is pretty much fucked.
How does him switching with Tony help?
Well, if you get Tony in there, you never know with Tony.
There are 3,000 players I'd pick to switch with him before Tony. Nothing against Tony. Tony's obviously maybe even the GOAT, or at least on the Mount Rushmore Survivor players. But there are other people I might pick before him. Regardless, oh boy. My notes for Daniel are literally, oh boy. And someone I am definitely higher on, and someone that has gone up in my ratings after last episode, is good old High. I had High last time at a 6, actually. Yeah, he's staying put. He's gone up, but not enough to give him a full number boost. I think he's in a really good spot now. I think Mike is looking up to him. Lydia is looking up to him. Actually, no, I'm going 7. Sorry. I've changed on all 3 people in this tribe so far. He's in a really good spot, I think. He's a really capable player. I like what I see out of High. I really do. He's another person I could see winning this game. High at a 7.
I believe I had him at an 8, and we are going to stand put at an 8. I don't think he's done anything to drop his stock. And
you had him at a 7 last week.
At a 7. Well, you know what? We're bumping him up to an 8 then.
Okay.
I don't think he's only helped his position. And if things go well for them come merge time, I think he's going to be a real threat to win this game.
My only concern is the target on his back that could arise if everyone realizes, High is running things. But
I guess
until that happens, he's in a good spot. The next person who's not in as good a spot, but a decent one, is Lydia. Lydia is going to stay at a 5 for me. We didn't get much. Something goes haywire. Dan finds an idol, shot in the dark, works. Lydia's gone. That's the reason she's not higher. She doesn't have that much control. She has allies. I think she has a good ally in High who will fight for her. Mike is there, and I don't think Chanel has her and Chanel, but I still don't think her and Chanel is not patchable. So 5. She's in an okay position.
Yeah, I have her a 5 as well. I think she's pretty much at this point. We haven't seen much from a few episodes, and decent spot. I don't think she's in a good spot. I don't think she's in a bad spot. So we're just going right down the middle.
All right, let's go right down the middle to the last person on Vati, who I wish was playing more down the middle. He's not. That's Mike. What do you have to say about Mike?
I think I'd have Mike at a 5 as well.
Okay.
I think he has upside potential, moving into the merge, especially getting that idol. But him not having a vote is always going to be a danger. And I don't think he's the one that does go, but I don't necessarily think that he's in a strong position right now. especially anytime that you're switching to a new alliance of 3 and you have, where you were just going against each other and you haven't had to test that loyalty. I don't think your position can really improve until it's been tested.
Yeah, I was tempted to bump Mike down. I'm going to keep him at a 4. He doesn't have a vote. He could get an idol, but until this tribe survives, he might have an idol. But it's an idol that mostly everyone will know. A lot of people will know it, at least on his tribe. And I don't think his tribe is anybody that's going to keep things quiet. No one's that loyal to him, but he needs to be that loyal to others to stay in the game. I like his line about being adaptable. I think he is self-aware enough to realize it, and that's why I'm not dropping him further. He has a small chance to win the game, but overall, not in a great spot. I worry for Mike. I really do.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yes. All right. Well, that happens. My laptop is acting up, so just heads up there. All right. Next up is Drea. Why don't you start with Drea while I figure this out?
I have Drea at a 7. I know her name keeps coming up, but I don't think she's ever going to be in any danger of going home, even if they were to lose again. And, once it comes merged, she's just going to have more and more tools at her disposal as far as advantages and things like that. And I think she's put herself in a good social spot on her tribe. And I think she's more than capable of doing that come merge time as well.
All right, a 7 for Drea on your end. I'm not as high on her. I had Drea at a 5 last time because we got nothing from her. I think her capability is there, but I'm a little concerned, and also I think my laptop may be smoking, so that's not a good thing. But Drea is at a 6 for me right now.
Okay.
We shall see what happens, and yeah. All right. I'm going to let you carry on. Go to Roxroy for me, please.
Roxroy, I think he's in trouble. I don't think that he really has much of a chance moving forward, even if he's able to survive another vote and, potentially it's Tori that goes. I have him at a 3 because I don't really see it going all that well for him moving forward, even if he's able to survive one more vote. I think kind of his personality, it's going to continue to grade on people at the merge, and I think he's in a lot of trouble.
You're kind at a 3. I'm going down to a 2. No shot at winning this game. Nobody likes him. He's surviving on the grace of other people much younger than him playing badly. Yeah, I don't. If Roxroy wins this game, color me the most shocked person ever. I think even Tori has a better shot at winning than him. But somebody I do think has a good shot of winning is Romeo. I'm giving Romeo a 7. He is my third person that I'll give a 7 to. Has still not been talked about. Is still rather likable. Is still has allies in a decent spot. And I think going into the merge, he's a person that can latch on with others rather easily and be in an overall good spot. What do you have to say about him?
I have him at a 6. I think he is in a good spot. He's one of the people that I'm curious to see what he does come merge time, because I definitely see that there are signs for him to have, upside potential. But I don't know. I don't know about him moving forward. I think he may be in a bit of a tough spot, but who knows? Maybe he'll prove me wrong. But I have him at a 6.
Okay. And last but not least is good old Tori. I'm going 4 for Tori. She's improving. Still not in a great spot. I don't know how she does at the merge, but the fact that she may make the merge is better spot than I thought she could be in weeks ago. Yeah, Tori's impressed me, but I need more to bump her up more.
Yeah, I have her at a 4 as well. There were some things that I didn't particularly like that she did when, she was trying to put on her therapist glasses to talk about other people and, some of her confessionals and stuff last week. I don't think that's her place to do that, especially if you go and look at her credentials. I won't talk about it, but, they're out there if you want to go see. And
your words, not mine.
Well, I mean, she's more of a life coach, not a therapist. She's working towards it, but more of a life coach. And even still, I mean, if she's a brand new therapist, she's still only 25. I just don't think it's her place. But like I said, that was confessional, not in the game. It's improved a little, but I still think she has a tough hill to climb. So I'd have her at a 4.
Okay. All right. That will do it for our ratings. We have maybe one more vote to go before the merge. We'll see. Maybe 1, maybe 5. Who knows? All right. Anything left to say about this episode, Dan? Or do you want to just plug us away?
I can go. Unless there's anything you have to say, I think we covered everything.
Yeah. Episode was decent. This season is rather above decent, I would say. And I'm really curious to see where it goes from here and hope the twists don't ruin it.
All right. So with that being said, if you're a fan of the podcast or reality NSFW in general, the best way to support the podcast is become a patron. You can do that at adfreeNSFW.com. That gets you access to the secret Facebook group where there's
Which
a lot
Dan and I are in.
Yeah.
Talk
There's a
to
lot
us.
of interaction there. It gets you bonus podcasts like the Q&A where you can ask Johnny and Matt literally anything you want and they will go and they will talk about it. As well as there's some other perks that, you'll get throughout the seasons and other podcasts that they have done. Sometimes, with some of their interviews, they release early there. It's a great time over there. So if you're interested, that's at adfreeNSFW.com. If you're looking for live shows, I know Johnny Fairplay will be starting his live show tour shortly. The first one is going to be in Nashville on 4/20. He will be there, I believe, as of right now. The guests he have are Figgy from Millennials versus Gen X, Whitney and Keith from South Pacific, and Taj Jordan from Tocantins. So I thought that was a pretty good get. And then I believe the only other one that is announced right now will be the following week. That will be April 27th. That will be in Durham, North Carolina at the Dirty Bull. Not entirely sure what guests will be there yet. I will be there. And then I know that there will be a few other former contestants that will be there as well.
Dan is all you need, though.
Well, that's what I like to tell people. If you're interested in other podcasts that the network has, as always, Wednesdays following right after the episode, you can check out Johnny, Matt, and Alex Trias as they do the reaction show right after. If you are watching this amazing season of Australian Survivor, you should check out the episode that we just did last week. Johnny and myself, we interviewed Sam. And this week, don't have it confirmed yet. So, still fingers crossed. But we may be speaking to her husband. So that will be another great, and that'll be recapping the whole finale and, the 2 episodes from this week.
And hopefully I can jump on that.
For additional Survivor breakdown coverage, check out Ladies Night. That is with Lauren Pratt and Sarah Hart. They will be going live tomorrow night, I believe at 8:00. And their guest this week is Rita from Fiji. So here, check that out. Rita is someone that you don't really hear from all that often. I know there's not a lot of Fiji fans out there. I personally like the season, so I will be checking it out. And then as well as if you're interested in Big Brother coverage every Wednesday night as well with Brent and Bobby. We'll be breaking it down. And then as always, next week, Alex and I will be back again to talk about the episode.
All right. Dan, thank you so much for joining me. This was a blast as always. To everybody listening, thank you so much. We'll be back next week. Have a good one, everyone. Bye.
And for more reality NSFW content, visit adfreeNSFW.com.